Hi, and welcome to my screencast on screencasting. A lot of you may be wondering what screencasting is. Screencasting is basically just recording what happens on your screen. So this can be used to make tutorials or instructional videos on how to use software, things like that. So engagement. So this is a student who is not engaged. But screencasts can be used as a way to engage students. It often demonstrates to the students how to complete a task in a way which they wouldn't have seen before. This kind of thing can be very engaging to students, get them participating, interested in the class. Caters for diversity. So there are many different types of learners in your classroom, some linguistic, some visual. Screencasts really play for visual learners. So this isn't to say that screencasts will be fantastic for all the students. They won't. But the point is that they're useful to have another way to explain something to the students. The more times you explain something and the different ways you do it, the more likely you are to be able to cover all of the students' learning needs. Learning in your own time. This is one of the most important and the best reasons for using screencasts, and that is that it gives students the option to be able to learn in their own time. Students these days often have jobs or are very, very busy, so it just gives them that extra option. Also, for example, if a student misses a class for some reason, say they're sick, and there was a tutorial on how to use a certain software or use a certain program, then they're able to watch this and catch up in their own time. It also allows students to be able to extend themselves. So, for example, if you have a series of screencasts on a certain topic, then the student can pretty much work through them at their own pace. So students who are ahead of the class, they are able to extend themselves without having to rely on the teacher to do it, which is fantastic. '21st century learning. 21st century learning is basically all about educating students to be able to live in the real world in the 21st century. And with such a huge shift towards video sharing websites, like technology in classrooms, this has to be demonstrated through teachers. So screencasts work as a fantastic introduction to this information outlet. So with the emergence of video sharing websites, there's also an emergence of learning through these. So people are creating a lot more video tutorials, a lot more educational information out there. And this seems to be the trend of where education is going towards. Creating resources which are shared by a large amount of community. So by creating screencasts, you introduce the students to this kind of resource, and it just, I suppose, will open their mind that these resources exist out there. So if there is something that they particularly want to learn, they can learn the ability to research it for themselves. They can see that yes, this is a common form of education, and it could be out there. It's also something which seems to really work. So because of that, more and more schools are taking it on. It'll be more common in the future. So when you make a screencast and you upload it to a video sharing website, it will basically be there forever, or as long as the website continues to exist. This essentially means once the resource is created, you'll always have it. That goes into teacher resources. So they work as a time saver. Once they're made, they don't have to be updated. They only have to be updated with the technology itself. So the final point is to encourage student sharing. One of the most interesting ways that screencasting can be used is to have the students create screencasts for themselves. By doing this, students learn more about their topic and also explain things in a way which only students can. They're also likely to respond very well to other students' screencasts. And thanks to video sharing websites, they can share this with any student anywhere. And it's basically just a new way of teaching or learning for students. And as I was saying earlier, the more different examples and different ways you give the student to learn something, the better the chances are to actually learn it. Anyway, so that was all on screencasting. Thank you.